Well, how are you?
I'm blessed.
Yeah.
Thank you for asking. How are you?
Chalade.
Kojo?
Hey.
Are you 100%? Good to have you back.
The way you're breathing on me is serious. Bring him some water. He's been a bit under the weather.
Yeah. I don't know. Let's say I'm on my way to recovery.
Nice, nice.
But it's good to be back. It's good to see you all.
Yeah.
Good
When you
to
were
see
away,
you.
we started some weather updates.
Is that so?
Yeah.
That's nice.
Well, yeah,
show me. How does that work?
like you're doing cocoa or something.
Yeah, when you always say some weather updates. So we'll tell you whether it's going to rain, the heat will be on, etc.
Oh, show me.
So
How does that work?
we have Papa on the line. Please introduce him for us. Yeah.
Oh, hello. This is the PRO of the Ghana Meteorological Agency, Papa Nee Clegg. Papa, good morning. What's the weather looking like today?
Yeah, good morning. The northern sector of the country, that is Wabole, Tamale, Yindi, Nabrongo and its environs, will be partly cloudy with slightly hazy conditions today. For the southern sector, which is made up of the middle portions, that is Koforodua, Akimodan, Kumasi, Obuasi, Sefe, Bekwai, Kintampo and its environs will be cloudy with sunny intervals. When you come to the coast, which is Adan, Tema, Accra, Cape Coast, Takrade, Axim, will be partly cloudy with mist or fog patches this morning, giving way to sunny periods in the afternoon. However, Cape Coast, Takrade, and Azim have 60% chance of rain this evening. This is what we have for you by way of the weather.
Thank you so much, Papa Nee Clegg, the PRO of the Ghana Meteorological Agency. We appreciate that. And Papa Nee is back tomorrow, I'm assuming.
Yeah,
more.
definitely.
There you go. Okay, well, I have papers.
Yeah.
I have a paper too.
Okay. I've got the Business Finder and the Daily Guide.
I'll do the Times. Roland's got the Custodian and the Daily Dispatch. It's just passed the Daily Statesman to me.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, who's starting?
Me.
Okay, then.
The Custodian. We'll start with the Custodian. Front page. Quickly, Afrobarometer report still occupying the front pages. Police, judges, MPs most corrupt. Army, religious leaders, presidency most trusted. Yeah, I think the most trusted is the army. I don't know, I think it's the uniform or the way they carry themselves.
It's not the uniform, it's just the discipline. There's a lot of discipline in there.
Because the police wear uniform too.
Yeah.
But they are the least trusted according to the survey.
I think it's because their uniform is black. Black is not a good thing in our culture.
Well, it's not the color. That's what we're trying to tell you.
So I think it's because when we see their uniforms, because it's black.
We put them onto the single spine. What did we see?
We form navy blue. We have a certain perception.
You can give the military uniform to them. Perception will still be the same.
Okay, give me 4 more years.
The ones who wear Kamukra.
Akufo-Addo to voters, also on the front page of the Custodian. Other stories, as we continue to look at the front page of the Custodian, government spends some 373.9 million Ghana cedis on pre-mix subsidy. And the president has been on tour, Greater Accra region, so many of the coastal belt communities have been covered in the region, and some of these content being printed or being published there or mandated from our interaction. Ghana records bumper fish harvest, also on the front page of the Custodian. This is the front page of the Custodian. Okay, and then we have the back page. It features a lot of sports stories. It says Samuel Eto'o goes back to school. We told you earlier, I think last week or two.
2 weeks ago.
Him going to school. Fabregas, though, praises Thomas Partey after Atletico Barcelona clash. They lost that game by 0-0, but he got some great accolades from the former Arsenal and then Barcelona and Chelsea player. Mourinho targets £15 million. Nemanja Matic. Those are the rumors in England currently. There's a January transfer window, so we'll see how it goes. The Daily Dispatch newspaper has on the front page Cyril Akolache to be buried on December 13, 2019. It's a man I know very well. May so rest in peace. And then we have 2019 Afrobarometer survey. Fight against corruption declined between 2017 and 2019. It was a great debate on the show yesterday, on Wednesday. If you're living in other parts of the globe and you're watching us. An introduction of former Volta region. an introduction of former Volta region as it is. I'm sure all this is coming up because of the Western Togoland issues. We will build a first-class railway network, according to Kufuado, also on the front page of the Daily Dispatch newspaper. I'm done.
Okay. I'll start with the finder, the business finder, because it's Thursday. 3 new bauxite mining concessions planned, and government to own 30% stake in any new mine, refinery or smelter. That's on the front page. Also this morning, urban electrification, Ghana has 95% coverage. Also on the front, rethink strategy behind cocoa bond. That's the advice of Kofi Bentel of Imani Africa. Right, let's have a quick look at the Daily Guide. And the banner headline, NDC sold train coaches as scrap. Also, coup plotters case lingers. And stop attacking police, IGP warns. Also, minority chases Bank of Ghana governor over new CD notes. And on the back, $100,000 Glow legal fee returned. Minister confirms Meteor's unpaid bonus. Goldfield dangle big cash as 6th PGA tournament tees off. And Solomon Asante dad funeral rites on Saturday. Who's Solomon Asante?
A player.
Okay.
I think.
So
it's on the back page, right?
Funeral rites are announced on the back page.
He used to play for TP Mazembe, was before then.
Okay.
Okay.
There we go. That's me. I'm done.
All right, let's do the Ghanaian Times newspaper. Front page of the paper, Parliament applauds one constituency, one Astro Park initiative. Coleman for sports development. Well, we have to say congratulations to Robert Coleman. I think he's still receiving lots of accolades. Parliamentarians obviously love this, and we love the fact that it creates an opportunity for the young people in the community to develop their skills as well. Yeah.
He's fast becoming a force for development in his own right. You know, he used to be a part of the bigger group, Jospong, and we often heard his voice there. But now with his own initiative with the AstroTurfs, which is really bringing transformation to a number of communities, I think he's stepping out on his own and making a mark.
I remember when Benedict went to Egypt, he said one of the things that many of the sports journalists in Ghana found in Egypt and elsewhere in Northern Africa was that they had a lot of these AstroTurfs or playing pitches. So for example, if your child was off school, in the evening they could just go round off and do some 30 minutes and back. It also helped in some wellness means because you know many of the children now need those sort of playing times.
Also because, you know, in our planning generally as a country, we don't make provision for parks and things like that. So this is refreshing. We can only big him up. So let's go back to the front page of the paper. President cut sword for 300 million Ghana cedis Ningo Pram Sea Defense War projects. The president ended his 3-day tour of the Greater Accra region yesterday with this activity, and he said quite a bit of, I think the one that I want to highlight is the fact that that place is really dear to his heart because that's where his wife comes from. And also says he was going to support calls to separate Ningo and Pram, so there will be different constituencies. That story you can read on is in page 16 of the paper. Fights against corruption, money laundering, back on the front page of the paper. Confiscate ill-gotten wealth from culprits after jail term. That's a call by the Attorney General Gloria Kufu, Minister of Justice and Attorney General. So pointers, the point she was trying to make in this report is the fact that people who, you know, are found guilty of crimes, okay, we just jail them. You know, we get them to serve their sentence, but when they're done, they can go back to the things that they got from that activity, that illegal activity, and enjoy it. It's almost like it pays, like crime pays. All you have to do is to serve the sentence after that. So the call is to trace the assets of these persons so that when you come back from wherever, you know, you don't have that money that you stole or whatever it is, even though she acknowledges that it will be difficult in tracing some of these assets. So you can read on. This was, let's see, some agencies, including the Commission for Human Rights and Administrative Justice, SHRAJ, Economic Crime, Organized Crime Office, YOCO, United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime, West African Network for Central Authorities and Prosecutors, and Interpol, all urging local and international anti-corruption agencies to intensify efforts to confiscate proceeds of corruption and money laundering to deter others from engaging in such practices.
You know,
she was speaking at an international forum on asset recovery and money laundering organized by the European Union in collaboration with the Attorney General's Department. Yep, Kujo?
I was just going to say, I completely agree. Yeah, we really shouldn't make it so that crime pays. But I think there are also lower hanging fruits, easier things we could be doing to make it difficult for people to benefit from crime. Like the asset declaration, taking it seriously, doing something about that law. I would have loved to see the Attorney General take this to Parliament, you know, seek an amendment to the law so that you don't declare your assets in an envelope. And you actually declare. I don't know what we are afraid of. I don't know what it is that our culture does to make it so difficult for us to consider the possibility of being honest about how much we earn. How much do you earn?
Like my salary.
You see, he's doing what?
No. But is that okay? Well, in your defense,
I'm not
he's not
myself.
working in a public in a public
I'm
space.
with you, but I did that just to demonstrate that culturally we have a certain reservation about it. In other parts
you
of
mean
the
I
world.
didn't want to? Oh, it's not true. Oh, I would have told you. But please continue.
Master, quiet too. I'll add my voice to it right now.
Ah, gosh. You know, we do have a reservation when it comes to that. Even I feel uncomfortable when people ask me how much do I earn. But we have to hold public officers to a higher standard. And we have to make it such that before you even consider coming to public office, you are aware that these things will happen. You are aware that somebody will ask you publicly to state your assets. Because when you come into public office, the idea is not for you to come and enrich yourself beyond the salary that you will be paid in public office. Somehow we have to start that trend. And it would support things like this so that you don't even wait.
Make it much easier.
Yeah, you don't wait for the crime to be committed, person to be convicted, then you go and retrieve assets.
What you've just said is making me miss Emmanuel Chemate Jako. Because I remember a conversation with him here on the show where he put himself, you know, like, ask me where I got money to buy my Benz, for instance. You know, we should be able to ask such questions and people should be able to say.
I completely
But
agree.
if we have something that makes it mandatory, then it'll be much easier.
Yeah.
Like right now, like who are you to go and ask? Like he doesn't owe you a response.
And I never hear, you know, during vetting in Parliament, I never hear anybody on the committee asking pointed questions about how did you make your money? You know, where did you get the money to buy this?
If that person, you know, was to ask the person asking, would that person be able to answer it?
You see, that's the thing. So nobody wants to bring it up in case they find themselves in the seat
absolutely.
next time.
All right, let's do the Daily Statesman news. So that's the last newspaper. Front page, Farmers Day 2019. Thanks to those who feed us. Happy Day, Ningo Pram Pram. President cuts the sword for $70 million sea defense project. Tema Mpakadan rail line ready by August. That's how the front page of the Daily Statesman looks like this day, Thursday. Okay, that's it for me. Roland, have you done yours?
Yes, I have.
Okay, all right. Any picks, or we go to myjoyonline.com?
Well, real quick before myjoyonline.com, we're starting to see a bit more of a clearer picture of our bauxite resources as a nation. So the new CEO of the Ghana Bauxite
Integrated.
Yes. Do you know, nobody ever writes the full name of this organization. They always just abbreviate it. GAIADEC. But it's Ghana Integrated Aluminium Development Corporation. So why don't they write like, anyway, GAIADEC. The gentleman who runs
like acronyms.
The Chief Executive Officer, Mr. Michael Ansa, quite a nice gentleman. He was speaking to some journalists yesterday, I believe. and shared some details about the volumes of reserves that we have of bauxite. So there's an estimated 900 million tons of bauxite minerals across 3 main locations in Ghana. Awaso has 60 million, Minehin has 700 million, and Chibi has 160 million. And there are plans to develop this. Apparently there will be 3 new bauxite mining concessions to be granted. These are all separate from the Sino Hydro deal, I'm assuming, where the Chinese are, mining and processing and exporting bauxite and its related products out of Ghana. Yes, Mr. Michael Ansan was talking about the capacity of the sector and what is to come. There's a 500,000 metric ton smelter being planned. Between 12 and 14 companies have been shortlisted for the 3 mining concessions that are in the pipeline. And they're also going to retrofit Valco so that it comes up to 300,000 metric tons smelting capacity. So it's good to see all of this, but where
to see or to hear?
I mean, it's good to yeah. Thank you for the correction. We are hearing, we are not yet seeing. So it's good to hear all of this, but I also want to understand the connectivity here. Where's the electricity going to come from to power these plants? The smelter, 500,000 metric ton smelter. Valco is now going to be retrofitted to upgrade to 300,000. Wherever it was before, it was already one of the biggest consumers of power. And we are a nation that struggles to provide enough power for our citizens and for our
Gridco's been screaming workers of Gridco the past couple of days.
So I'm curious, I want to know I want to hear the plan of how we are going to power these plants.
So further questions and answers after these revelations.
Particularly when it comes to the Sino-Hydro deal. Because you see, that's the thing. That is supposed to be a barter. We've taken the money. We have to give them the bauxite, right? So, or whatever, the product, whatever end product of it we have agreed on. So whether it's alumina or aluminum or whatever. So if we have problems smelting or we don't have the power to deliver on what we owe them, what is the penalty? What are the consequences? So from month to month, if we're not able to meet the supply, what are the consequences? These are some of the details that I really wanted to examine in the Sino-Hydro deal. And I suppose it's not too late.
No.
We should be able to pay attention to it and see what exactly they have agreed with us and how we meet the obligation.
All right, that's it, right? We've got more news. Just log on to myjoyonline.com. Because of time, we won't be able to do myjoyonline.com, but we will certainly be able to do sports. There was Premier League action, lots of reactions. Jose Mourinho returned to Manchester United. It wasn't the return that he probably thought he was going to. Why are you looking at me like that?
Yeah.
I honestly thought we were going to draw. I was praying that we shouldn't lose this one.
2-1.
2-1. Yeah. Okay. And I'm not sure if Benedict is going to tell us about former England captain who has died at age 70. Is it Bob Willis? Quite a popular person.
Yeah.
So Benedict is up next with details in sport. You've got to stay. When we come back, we're talking the cathedral, guys.
Yeah, the cathedral.
Yeah, we're talking the cathedral.
I think that announcement by the finance minister during the reading of the budget took everybody surprised, or by some sort of surprise, knowing that the communication had been initially, government said, no, we're pumping no money into this, it's basically, and now getting to know that apparently the taxpayers' money will be used for.
But that was announced in last year's budget.
Well, yeah, but in terms of that allusion was for clearing and trying to get a replacement for the buildings that would be, But now it's even for the foundational work itself.
We've got secretary to the secretariat, to the board, and I think one of the questions I'll put to him, the National Shrine. I would love to hear his take on that.
Whether he thinks it's a good idea.
It's a national cathedral. We have a national shrine? Yeah.
Should we?
Stay with us. We've got sports first, and then we'll bring that conversation right after.